Ian.
David.
How's it going, buddy?
It is going well. How are you?
Excellent. Ladies and gentlemen on the internet watching us, first of all, we apologize for you having to actually see us.
Yes.
Podcast listeners, you're actually lucking out on this one.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Good call.
Yeah, with your chosen media consumption
Exactly.
vector. Yeah, well done.
Yep.
We are Team ClearCoat.
Yes, we are. We are an automotive podcast.
We are.
It's just us two idiots doing whatever it is that this is.
What do we talk about on Team ClearCoat, Ian?
We talk about car culture. We talk
Yep.
about us being idiots.
Mm-hmm.
And that pretty much covers it. Car news sometimes.
Yeah.
All sorts of things.
Our
Whatever strikes our
misadventures.
fancies.
Exactly.
Yep.
And so how about we do a little table of contents, a little TOC for the TCC PC.
We do this sporadically.
Yeah.
So today we are going to talk about Grand Tour Season 2.
Yes.
We're going to do some FMK cars, which we'll explain in a minute. And our big topic today, we're going to talk about safety.
Oh, really?
We're gonna talk about
Ian's surprising
safety.
me with this topic. Yeah, I don't know what it is. So yeah.
Safety / tragedy.
Oh, well.
But
then,
anyway,
then that abruptly changes things.
Yeah, before we get into the downer,
Yeah.
let's talk about the Grand Tour.
Okay. All right.
So
you have your whiskey. I've got my ginger beer.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's do this, buddy.
we're doing cheers.
Yep.
Is this a thing we're doing now?
Yeah. Yep.
It
You
seems
bet.
like a
Pinky.
Yeah, pinky.
All right. Ian.
Yeah. So
Okay. Yeah. Let's talk about the Grand Tour.
So Season 1 was sort of a mixed bag.
Right.
There were some things that worked, some things that didn't work.
Right.
They just announced when Season 2 is coming back. It's going to be back in October. First of all, I'm sort of unclear as to whether or not you actually watched Season 1.
Okay, so let's get some things straight, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was obviously a huge fan of the old new Top Gear.
Yes.
Jeremy, James, and Richard,
Mhm.
right? Love that show. Love it.
Yep.
Right? Obviously, Jeremy had to punch somebody in the face and ruin everything we like because we can't have anything good in our lives anymore.
Right.
So they went on to form the Grand Tour, the television show, the Grand Tour on Amazon for
Mhm.
anyone who doesn't know. So then the Top Gear name continued on the BBC with an awful ginger individual,
Chris Evans,
Chris Harris, who we all love, and Rory, and
Matt LeBlanc.
Roy Reid, right?
Yeah.
Matt LeBlanc, and yeah, I never watched an episode of that.
You still haven't, because there's been
Still have it.
2 seasons of that, and the second season is actually really pretty good.
Yeah, still haven't watched it.
Yeah.
And then Grand Tour. The Top Gear guys went on to do the Grand Tour. So I watched the Grand Tour.
Okay.
I saw every episode of the Grand Tour.
All right.
Yeah.
So I mean, there were obviously things that worked. I think their big travel special to Namibia was really good.
Yeah, that was.
And so some of the other things worked. Some of the things didn't work, like the celebrity brain crash thing got old after like 2 episodes.
Yeah, that was awful. Awful. And they just kept laying into these. There would be times when like you would watch David Letterman and he would just drive so deep into a joke that just did not work that it did come back around to be funny again.
Yeah, but he's the master at that. And
Right,
They
right.
are not quite there.
No, they're not. Also, he's also the master at growing retirement beards.
Yes. Oh my
Right?
God.
He looks like a
Yeah.
Viking warrior.
Yeah, he's
right?
awesome.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So they are not. Yeah, they're not quite there. And the celebrity brain crash never
Yeah.
did the sideshow Bob thing of like becoming funny again.
Right.
But although the last one was kind of funny with the blood like coating the
Yeah,
center, that was
yeah,
pretty funny.
yeah.
That was a good payoff. I don't know if it was worth
No.
a whole season of
No. Yeah, so ultimately, the thing that makes the show successful, that made old new Top Gear successful, was the friendship and the banter between the 3 guys, right?
Yeah.
I think that anybody doing a car show, or really any show, there needs to be a connection, right? Which is why we kind of joke that this show is Dave and Ian are friends, and we just happen to talk about cars, right?
Well, and I would say that those 3, Clarkson and Andy Willman in particular, were as influential to car journalism and the way that people converse about cars as like Roger Ebert was for movies.
You know what? That's a really good comparison. I really like that. Yeah, because it made it accessible to people beyond to people that already consumed like things like Motor Trend and
Right.
other car journalism. It made it so much more accessible to the general audience, right? Like tons of people loved watching Top Gear, even though they weren't really fans of cars,
Right.
you know? And it's a really tough line to walk, because I like in my mind I go to like think about like the crappy local band that you've heard that like tries to give you a CD and they're like, it's got something for everybody. Like you like reggae, like we got a fast song, we got like a more rockin' song.
We got ballads.
Yeah, exactly. Right?
Bagpipes, hell yeah.
Right, exactly. Like, but yet Top Gear hit this really great stride where it still did something for just about everybody.
Yeah.
And didn't sacrifice the overall quality of the show, you know, I mean, you know, you could kind of pick apart stuff as much, you know,
which is I think
stuff to pick
is
at,
interesting that we've circled back to that because it's impossible to talk about the Grand Tour without addressing the subject of expectations.
Yep. No, 100%. 100%.
And so like every opinion that anyone has about the Grand Tour is qualified, right?
Yeah.
By whatever their expectations were going into it.
Yep.
Based on their relationship to Top Gear.
Right. Scoot my chair here.
So so like it's never going to live up to that like golden age of Top Gear, like that season's like 8 through 15 or whatever.
Right. That's funny that we both said it. Like we both just thought 8.
Yeah, because that's when they started really doing the cheap car challenges, and they really started doing like those field pieces together.
Yeah. Right.
When they did that's when they did the amphibious cars thing. Yeah, which is one of the greatest episodes ever. I actually just rewatched that the other day.
Oh yeah, I'm thinking about something. Go on. Okay.
So, but for me, the Grand Tour was as successful as it possibly could have been.
Okay. Yeah.
I was very happy with it. I was a little wary in the first couple episodes.
Yeah.
But then it really did kind of hit its stride a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And they had tons of requirements of things that they could not do. Like they couldn't say, let's do the news.
The producers said,
yeah.
They say Mr. Willman.
Yeah.
All that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And I think the Conversation Street gag, I thought that was funny pretty much the whole way through. And, I like watching them sit and talk. And like the localized banter and stuff, even though they kind of rehashed some segments, some jokes from previous news segments and stuff.
The fake fights were kind of funny. Yeah.
I think all that stuff can stay. I think Celebrity Brain Crash could go. Yeah. And I would like to see them they didn't really do a cheap car challenge.
And
I would like to see them do another cheap car challenge in season 2.
So I think that one thing about Top Gear that I really like, and this just now occurred to me that this is a theme of media in general that I like, is that Top Gear really, it gave the hosts an opportunity to fail. And so witnessing the failure in different respects was really endearing, right?
Right.
When like the parking brake failed on one of their cars and it rolled backwards into James's like drum kit or whatever, like that kind of stuff is like, it's like, like these moments of failure, when James's boat sinks and boy, a lot of stuff with James.
Yeah. Well, and also I would say that their relationship is interesting too, because like the new Top Gear, even the much improved one with Chris and Rory and Matt, is that you can tell that they all like each other.
Right.
Where the other 3, they more love each other than like each other.
Yeah.
And with that, with like a lot of loving long-term relationships comes an undercurrent of loathing as well, right? Like you can loathe someone and love someone simultaneously. It's hard to loathe someone and like someone simultaneously. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you're saying.
So they were more a marriage than they were.
Right.
That was more of a marriage than it was a friendship.
Right.
Which made it really compelling to watch.
Right. Because it's a commitment. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I got to put up with this asshole, right? Like, because you get on people's nerves sometimes.
Right.
And they let that part shine through, And whenever other people try to replicate that, the irritation with each other, when they clearly like each other,
right? It's just so false.
It doesn't work, right?
I just want to get back to the failure aspect of it real quick, right? So giving the host an opportunity to fail, failure being endearing, like it is such a hard thing to nail, and I just now realized that my favorite television show, The Venture Brothers, handles that with its characters in such an immaculate way as well. Like that the failure element, and like, Ian, what is our show but us consistently failing at being successful automotive journalists, right?
Silicon Valley does a good job with that.
Yes, thank you. You're exactly right. Yeah.
Because that show doesn't exist without failure.
You're exactly right. No, and so I really like that. Failure is an essential part of it. And with Top Gear,
let's keep telling ourselves that.
with Top Gear, and I think they could do more of that with Grand Tour, or to kind of just let it breathe into all of those spaces, the failure space and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I don't know. So as far as season 2, I want them to consistently keep working towards finding the voice for that show. And I understand that it might not be the same voice that they had for Top Gear.
Right.
But at the core of it, right, is the relationship between the three guys, the banter, and what Andy Willman puts them through.
Yeah.
And
also the American that needs to go.
Yeah. The
that guy
fat
was
Stig. Yeah. He needs to go. Whenever I was watching that, I was like, oh, maybe it's good to have a Stig that doesn't say a goddamn word, right? That kind of stuff gets played out. But so I'll certainly watch the second season. I think that there were a lot of shows that just didn't come into their own until a season 2 or 3. There was some stuff that hit the ground running, like Arrested Development and 30 Rock.
Yeah.
But like Parks and Recreation, right? The first season of that was really not good.
Yeah. Not
good. I mean, Chris Pratt falling in the pit, that was hilarious.
Yeah.
But like it didn't really have its voice until the later seasons. And I'm really hoping that it just kind of blooms,
Yeah, and also, hopefully that happens for this show at some point.
Yeah, us. Maybe we'll bloom.
In the distant future, I'm sure.
Maybe we'll bloom after 7 million episodes. We ran out of server space and we still haven't bloomed.
Yep, exactly.
Ian. So what about you? Give me your hot take coming into season 2 for Grand Tour.
Well, like I said, I think the American bit.
Yeah,
he wasn't all that funny.
Right.
It kind of got tired after a few episodes. I would like to see a cheap car challenge.
Yeah,
because they didn't really do one.
Yeah, some challenges with budgets and themes and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And the celebrity brain crash, just do away with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, I really liked season 1. So I'm just excited for season 2.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I would personally like some more man versus machine challenges, right? Or transportation method.
A car against something not a car.
Yeah, I think one of my all-time favorite segments on that show was when Jeremy raced the guy along the London Marathon route, the runner.
Yeah,
that was an amazing bit.
Yeah. Well, and then that was an early one. That was like season 7 or 8, right?
It was around then. It was fantastic. That's one of my favorites. Yeah. So
okay.
Yeah, awesome, man. What else are we going to talk about? You know what, Ian? I'm glad you brought up the American, because I think this might actually take me to an FMK Cars that I had for you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like with a cultural.
You want to do it right now?
Aspect. Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Ian.
Yes.
FMK Cars is a game that you and I play, just in case you live in like a Groundhog Day scenario.
It's certainly not for the people.
Right, exactly.
It's for me.
Yeah, in case you think, actually, you think every episode is episode 1.
Yeah.
Right?
We've been doing this for your whole life.
Exactly.
But you've always been here.
Uh-huh. Yep. Yeah. You go home and I just sit here. Right? So anyway, FMK Cars is a game that you and I play. it is fuck, marry, kill, but with cars.
Yep.
Right? So fuck means you drive it for a day, you hit it and quit it. M means you marry it, you put a ring on it. It is your boo, right? Yeah. Ian?
Yeah.
Yep. You take it home. You show it to your parents. Right?
Yep.
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 And lastly, K, you kill it, the
Crusher.
car.
Goes
You
with the
crush the car immediately.
Yeah. Crusher
So,
with a K.
Yep.
No.
We crusher. We give each other 3 cars, and you have to decide FMK. So
Yes.
here's what we're going to do. Let me pull up a web browser here, and we will show the listeners the cars that I am thinking of. So, Ian, this one's called positive, negative, or neutral. Okay? All right. So with this one, there is, let's see here. And this will get to my eyes, but with this one, you're driving on a track, right? And you're receiving feedback from the individual in the passenger seat. Okay? All right. So first up, positive. Ian, who do you know that's positive?
Ian? Maybe likes taffy.
Yeah. That's my homepage on this Firefox.
Maybe kind of resembles Big Bird.
Yep. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be you.
Okay, so I'm riding in the passenger seat with you, right? You and I are in a bright yellow Saab Viggen.
Sweet.
Which is what I saw today. That's my eyes.
Oh,
I saw
really?
one of those going the other way on the highway today. It looked pristine.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you should say that whenever you see one of those that's not wrapped around a tree, that's pristine.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, and we had this conversation with our friend Andrew not that long ago.
Mm-hmm.
That we're rapidly approaching the point where there is no one left driving a Saab by accident.
You're exactly right. Yeah, they didn't inherit it from a relative. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, people are focusing on acquiring.
It wasn't like I need a car.
Right.
Here's a Saab, I'll buy that.
Right, exactly.
Those people probably don't exist anymore.
Yeah, where they buy something and it happened to be a Saab.
Right.
Yeah.
We're at this really weird point where the inventory of parts and stuff is going to start to run out. But if you find one, it's probably been cared for.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, and Viggens are at a good price point. Like you can still get these for like $4,000.
They'll do like 150 miles an hour. I mean,
yeah.
they're fast cars.
Yeah.
Anyway,
0 to 60 in less than 5. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, they're quick.
Less than 5?
Less than 5. Well, actually,
but that just seems really fast. My car is 6.5.
6.5? I wonder what the Viggen is. I mean, feel free to play Look It Up Ian while we're on the show.
I'm gonna Google it. I'm
Okay.
Googling it now that I have permission. I was itchy.
Yeah,
because I know you always yell at me.
I saw you neck scratching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your actual guess?
I'm guessing 5 seconds. 0 to 60. Ian?
You're guessing 5 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah. Saab Viggen, 0 to 60 time.
Where the fuck is it?
Yeah. Come on.
6 seconds.
6 seconds?
6
Okay.
seconds.
All right. Okay.
That's a
Still,
99.
That's quick as hell.
6 seconds.
Okay.
Yeah. So
All
I
right.
mean, it's still a quick car,
Yeah,
but
that's really fast.
under 5 is fast.
Under 5 is stupid fast. Yeah. I bet one of those stage 3 under 5, no problem.
Yeah, maybe.
Right?
If you can launch it, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm in the passenger seat, right?
Okay.
We're in the Saab Viggen. Positive reinforcement is the only feedback you get from me on the track. Right? So I tell you when you've done something good. I'm completely silent any other time.
Oh, so you just sit in silent judgment. That's so much worse.
Well,
because then I just fill it in.
Yeah. Okay. So this
fill it
one's
in.
going to be more about you than it is about me, right?
Well, yeah.
So and on top of that, I'm going to go ahead and qualify this, right?
Uh-huh.
My track knowledge is what it is, right? Let's just assume that my knowledge is instructor level.
Okay.
This, okay.
Okay.
I don't personally have instructor level knowledge.
Yeah.
Right. But let's just assume
Right.
that when I
like
give you positive reinforcement,
I like it.
right? Because when I give you enforcement now, it's good, right?
Yep.
But this adds that extra,
Yeah. There's some
Gravity.
gravity to it. Yeah. I like it.
right?
Some
That's a little
gravitas.
scary that we said the same.
Gravitas. Gravitas.
Same word at the same time.
Yep.
You should be scared.
Yeah.
All right. Second, Fiat 124 Abarth Spider.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Let me go ahead and pull up a picture of that. You are sitting next to a pithy Italian individual, and every time you miss an apex by more than 1 foot, they burn you with a cigarette.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right. That's the negative.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
well, yeah.
All right. Then lastly, I gotta pull up a picture of that. Look at that Abarth. Isn't that beautiful?
Mm-hmm.
Lastly is a Mazda Speed 3. I like that it's called the Mazda Speed 3. Speed 3, right?
Yep.
In the passenger seat, Japanese businessman. Okay?
Okay.
Right? Whenever you are on the perfect line around the race course, he does not say a thing. Any time you are off the perfect line, he just slowly shakes his head.
Okay.
All right? That's the neutral.
Ooh.
So you have me giving you positive feedback in the Vigan.
Yeah.
You have yourself getting cigarette burned every time you miss an apex by more than a foot in the Fiat. And then in the Mazda Speed 3, Japanese businessman and the perfect line. So I didn't really have a driving principle for the one with me, right?
Yeah.
And I should have thought
You're
of one.
you're really trying to sweeten the pot on that one because you think I'm going to take the Fiat. You think my inclination is to take the Fiat. Yeah.
But you get to ride in a Vigan with me.
All right. I'm going to marry. What do you think I'm going to do?
Okay. All right. Let's see here.
We'll do the newlywed,
The newlywed game?
FMK cars game.
I think you're actually going to marry the Vigan.
Do you know?
I do. Well, oh boy. Yeah, you're going to marry the Vigan. You're going to F the Mazda, and then you're going to kill the Abarth.
I am going to kill the Abarth.
Oh, you're not getting cigarette burned?
No.
Because eventually they would run out of fresh spots to
Exactly.
burn.
It's tempting, but I miss Apexes kind of a lot. So
they're like, we actually had to get a right-hand drive version of the car so I could burn that whole side of your body.
I'm going to marry the Mazda.
Okay.
And for a day.
Okay.
I
you
will,
and me? You and me and the Viggies?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I couldn't find a free use version of the Vigan picture, so that's from Auto Galleria.
Thanks, Auto Galleria.
Yeah, thanks, Auto Galleria. Yeah, for the yellow Vigan picture. You'd think there'd be some Saab press photos, but whatever. Yeah.
Those servers are long gone.
Yeah. They're like old dusty NT servers running Microsoft front page.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just covered in meatballs now. Yeah.
We used to warm the meatballs. Oh yeah. So today I saw a Saab Vigan, and that's
So what would you do there? Let's replace.
Sure.
Let's put you again in the passenger seat, giving yourself relentlessly positive reinforcement.
Okay. Oh, so I have like a doppelganger in the passenger seat.
Yeah.
Oh, buddy.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a lot of Dave.
Yeah. That could be too much Dave. I think I would marry the Mazda Speed 3 with the Japanese businessman, right? Because I would use his silence to my advantage and just start doing like imaginary voices for him, right? You know how I do.
So you'd be really focused on your driving, is what you're saying.
And he would just silently shaking his head. Yeah. So that's what I would do.
Also, I bet that the Mazda would be, of those three cars, the most challenging one on a track.
Right? And I want to hone that line, Ian. I want to hone that line. I want Japanese businessmen to help me hone that line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
Then I would put up with a version of myself for a day in the Saab.
Okay.
Because tracking a Saab for a day is about all it can last, and killing the Abarth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so what if we replaced the Italian cigarette burn person with me at my most negative?
You at your most negative. You know what? Yeah, that's a good thing. We should have thought of a version of this where you were the negative. You at your most negative?
My most withering.
Most withering. Shit. Oh man,
I would crush that immediately if I were you.
Yeah, that's tough to handle, buddy.
Yeah,
that's tough to handle.
Speaking of tough to handle.
Well, I'm rethinking you and your most withering. I don't know. Okay, I gotta crush it.
Okay. All right.
Speaking of most withering, tough to handle.
So, we're recording this on the 7th of June.
Yep.
This is going to come out a week from now.
after, yeah.
So some of this is not going to be current anymore. But the run up to the Isle of Man TT is happening right now.
Oh yeah. Okay. I'm familiar with the Isle of Man. Yeah.
If you are not,
Yeah.
first of all, the New York Times has a great little 10-minute short documentary that they just put out. I think
did
today
they? Oh,
on
cool.
it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really cool. Educate yourself on the Isle of Man TT. It's the craziest, most dangerous, insane motorsport event in the world.
It's the one that you think, well, surely this is going to be the last year that they'll do this.
Right. And I would, even just in the category of athletic events, it's up there as for being challenging with, I would say, Tour de France, Iditarod,
right,
Ironman triathlon,
right, yeah,
just like
like those crazy ultra marathons, the Leadville 100 trail race,
right. That's it's at that level of conditioning and especially mental acuity and all that sort of stuff.
God,
so it's this the Isle of Man is a tiny island off the coast of Great Britain, and it's and I don't think it's actually part of Great Britain. I think it's part of the UK, but not Great Britain. I don't know. Anyway, I can never keep track of all this.
Actually.
Anyway, but it's its own little country, and the ring road around it that goes over the mountain pass is this insane tiny road that goes through villages, and
it's not meant to be a racetrack whatsoever.
Right.
Yeah.
It is de-restricted over the mountains.
Well, but I mean, when they built it, they weren't thinking, let's make a race.
Right. But you see these bikes go through these little villages at like 160 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And it's just insane. To the point where 3 people already have died this year.
Yeah, this year.
And
there's no plans to cancel the race.
No.
It
just keeps going.
Yeah. That's them weeding out the people that would qualify at the back.
Right.
Yeah.
It's insane. It's no joke. And people go there knowing that people die every year, sort of thing. Kind of like a lot like the Pikes Peak race that's going to be happening here in a few weeks. It's sort of at that same level. So this made me think about your reluctance to drive.
Yeah.
And then also something that there's a debate within Formula One that's happening right now about driver safety.
Okay.
And obviously that's been a thing since Formula One began.
Yeah.
And really the big event that sparked all of the driver safety stuff was the 1953 Le Mans race. It's 55, I think, when there was a huge crash at Le Mans and right in the pits, and which used to not be like a separate lane. It was just like you pull over to the side of the road, and that was the pits
wow.
were.
Okay.
And the cars were magnesium bodied, and so they just
burst into flames.
They tumbled, and there was just flaming hot metal spewing into the crowd, and it killed something like 50 people.
Dear God.
And so that was sort of what began this path that we're on to introduce safety into motorsports, right?
Right.
And that kind of reached, in F1 at least, it reached its peak, kind of with Senna, and then in NASCAR with Dale Earnhardt. That's why we have Hans devices.
As far as safety awareness reaching its peak.
Right.
Yeah, and the motivation to increase safety measures.
And so now there's a debate within F1, and this is something that Martin Brundle brought up, and I'm going to bring it all back together.
No, yeah.
So there's a couple years ago, Felipe Massa got hit in the head with a spring. It was like a 5-pound spring. And he was doing he was doing like 130 miles an hour, and it knocked him out.
Yep.
Immediately.
Yeah.
And he went into the wall without touching the brakes.
Yep.
Because he was knocked out. And so that has brought up this whole thing of head protection for Formula One drivers.
Right.
And the debate there is now people are saying, well, like if you, and even Jackie Stewart, who has spent his whole career campaigning for driver safety, is like, ooh, it might be too far if we put canopies on, because it changes the fundamental nature of what Formula One is.
Okay.
And
because it's an open cockpit.
It's an open cockpit, and you can see the driver.
Right.
And that's part of the point of it.
Right.
And Martin Brundle has said something interesting on the Sky F1 coverage that I have in no way watched from.
Nope,
from
certainly
the States.
didn't fall off on a USB drive in front of your house off of a truck. Yeah.
But he said, if drivers have to be safe, but if we reach a point where it's 100% safe, where we know there's a 0% chance that someone could be hurt or killed,
right,
then is it still sport?
Right.
And where do you draw that line? Like, clearly what we had in the 60s and 70s was not tenable, where people were dying 25% of the time.
Right, exactly.
But is there a point where motorsport could be too safe?
Right.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, so that's a tough line to walk. It's ultimately like, I don't want to see anybody die. I don't want to see anybody get hurt. But if a driver doesn't feel like that there are consequences for their actions, then they're not going to hold back in any way, shape, or form. And it will just lead to massive mistakes and not this fine line that they consistently have to tread between, which is what makes F1 drivers F1 drivers, right?
Right.
Like that, like insane, no fear, pushing it to that absolute limit of what the car can do and what they're willing to allow the car to do.
Right.
Right. And so if you remove the consequences, because right now there are consequences if that happens, right? If they overstep those bounds, right? If you remove the consequences or the negative effects of the consequences, then how does that change the driver's fundamental like skill and motivation in the sport?
Right.
Right? And something that like you and I can relate to track driving as it's not without risk, right?
Right.
We're taking calculated risk, and we're choosing the venue at which we, choose to do these things and taking safety precautions that we can, things like that. And so we can actually kind of relate to drivers in all sports.
Yeah, you can extrapolate, yeah.
Right? Yeah, like, I admire so-and-so because they consistently, push a car this way or this, type of car this way, right? Like, I love Gil Panizzi because on tarmac he was beyond anyone. Right.
Well, and also he was driving on roads that were as wide as my laptop.
Exactly. Right. With his brother Herv yelling commands at him.
Yeah.
In the passenger seat.
Yeah.
Right.
But so that sort of, I was curious to know, because the sensation of speed and all that stuff that we love. Right. That is tied at some level.
Yeah.
To a recognition of
in our lizard brain.
Yeah. To a recognition of danger. Right?
It is. Right.
And so I think you can definitely acknowledge that and do what you're talking about, take calculated risk and everything on that intellectual level. Right. But I do think that there is something to that argument that, like, if you remove that visceral feeling, then it's no longer sport. Right. Yeah. So I was thinking about it in the context of the context of amateur motorsports too. Right. That obviously that line needs to be, or that bar needs to be much lower, right? It needs to be much safer
at the amateur levels. And less safe at the profestional levels.
But there still has to be some little, otherwise people wouldn't do it.
You're exactly right. Yeah. I think you and I feel very, very much the same on this. And the drawback to this is, pardon me, ginger beer burps. The drawback to this is that all of the money is at the professional level, right? Not very much money is at the amateur or recreational level, right? Just try to find a local racetrack that's been able to stay open for more than a decade. And so money is the thing that would get you safety, right? So where is this? It's not a sustainable ecosystem of infusing money at the amateur levels to increase safety measures right?
Yeah, all that stuff trickles down to the amateur sports, right? Like roll cages.
Hans
Is a really great example of that. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Right. So I don't know it, because at some point then you might as well just play a video game. You might as well just have the drivers out of the car driving it by remote control, like drone racing. Right. Like there's the safest thing. Like no one's going to get hurt with that, and then the audience is gone too. They're not near the track where the cars could catch fire.
Yeah.
Right?
Or they're watching the Twitch stream of people on simulators.
Exactly.
Because apparently there is an audience for that, which I don't understand because there's no element of danger.
Right.
Right. There's no, even with any sport, there's that like gladiator element to it, right?
Yeah.
Which is a super, like you said, lizard brain kind of.
Right. Yeah. Very primordial.
Unsophisticated.
Yeah. Caveman
sort of impulse, but.
Right. But yeah, so I mean, typically, like, let's put ourselves in like the hat of like the stereotypical like CEO douchebag where they're like, well, can't the nerds fix this, somehow? Like, can't technology solve these problems?
Right.
Can't tech fix all of our problems? I think that there's some creative ways to potentially solve things, like when the driver becomes unconscious, maybe a remote stop on the car, right?
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. Some kind of like at a distance control of the vehicle.
Well, but that's so now we're also, the other argument here is that at some point you reach diminishing returns where when Senna died,
right,
and they figured out like, oh, we need to prevent the drivers from being ejected from the car. Right, like
go figure. Yeah,
that's not good.
Yeah,
and then when Earnhardt died, like, oh, in a big impact, which is all big shunts,
right?
Like all big crashes have
your
a big
head
G
wants
load,
to keep going forward,
right? We can solve that by attaching your head to the rest of your body. Oh, wow, what do you think?
Besides just your neck,
right?
Yeah.
So those were kind of like low hanging fruit. Like,
right,
this happens in every scenario,
right?
Just
exactly.
about, right?
Exactly. But then we're planning for one spring hitting a guy in the head and devising technology solutions for that.
Right.
Yeah, you're exactly right. That is very much diminishing returns.
And so once you solve like the huge problems,
right,
then you end up with these like little tiny scenarios that that
and
are
that shit
more
ramps
expensive
down quick.
Right. And and the other part of that, the other opposing curve are the costs to address those things.
Exactly.
And that ramps up. And that actually ties back into our ongoing conversation about autonomous drivers and automation and all that sort of stuff. Because as those smaller scenarios start popping up, and they're going to, the cost associated with addressing those ramps up and ramps up. And
exactly.
ramps up. They're the spring, right?
Yep.
Driving on the highway.
Yep.
That's hey, let's attach people's heads to their bodies.
Exactly.
Driving in the city, that's the little spring.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. One big stone that got kicked up.
Yeah.
Or a homeless person that decided to fall asleep in the street.
Yeah. So acknowledging that there is a line that we all kind of walk around with in our heads of like, this is an acceptable amount of risk that I'm willing to like, and like NFL is kind of straddling this line now where their fans are starting to say, well, this is too much risk.
Right. Yeah.
For me to enjoy this.
Right.
Right. So, for you, would you be able to watch and enjoy Isle of Man knowing that someone dies every year, sort of thing?
I've watched the Isle of Man documentary on Netflix. I can't remember. I think it's just called Isle of Man.
Yeah.
And it's like Requiem for a Dream to me. Like, it was a good movie,
Right.
but I never want to see it again.
Yeah. I was curious to get your take because I know you're slightly more risk averse than I am. But,
Yep. Yeah.
But
in some things, I mean, I crashed my bike today.
Well, that's true.
You know?
Yeah.
Like overcooking a turn in gravel.
Yeah.
You know?
Which hurts.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Sorry, buddy.
You know,
That
it
sucks.
happens. But like, if for some reason, like, I could ride a mountain bike downhill, right? And just, if I was about to crash, like, just, airbags everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, no matter what, like, I wouldn't want that. Like, you like that connected feeling.
Right.
And one fun thing, and you can certainly relate to this about skiing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Starting slow and getting comfortable with speed and like, okay, I've gone this fast. Now I'm going to push a little bit further and delicately walking that line of getting less, like reining in your fear, becoming more comfortable, with handling things faster and things like that,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like to the point where like you're being limited by some other factor. Like the angle of the hill, the friction of the skis,
Right.
Something like that, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. And that with cars, like it's a 1-to-1 comparison with that, you know? And just, I don't think it would be a really messed up world if everybody could just go out and get insanely drunk with no consequences the next day.
Right.
Right? Like, what if you could just get tore up?
Yeah.
No hangover, no liver damage, nothing the next day,
Yeah.
Like no shattered relationships,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Like that would be a crazy world to live in,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So then like a driver would just like, if we had that world in F1, then a driver would just like straight up cook something straight into a wall.
Yeah, there's no stakes at that
Yeah.
point. There's no.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that movie, and this is the second time we're going to reference this movie on this podcast. The Tom Cruise movie, and we forgot the name of it the last
Live,
time.
Die, Repeat.
No,
Oblivion.
where
Okay. All right. Yeah.
where at the end of the movie
Yeah.
they erase the stakes.
Spoiler alert! If you haven't seen Tom Cruise Oblivion,
Yeah. I mean, the story is not good. The soundtrack is amazing, and
Yeah.
it's very pretty.
it is a beautiful movie.
And
not a good one.
the first 3/4 of it is pretty good, but then
Except for the part where like Tom Cruise is like, I want to ride a motorcycle in this movie, so I'm going to ride a motorcycle for a while. Vroom, vroom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But basically the end of the movie just erases all of the stakes
Yep.
that had been brought up before.
Because there's a million Tom Cruises.
Right. So they're like, oh no, is he gonna make it? Is he gonna make it? And then it's like, oh, it doesn't fucking matter
because he's just
they're
one
just
of
replaceable.
billions.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, and they don't play with that like they do in in other great sci-fi movies of recent years.
Yeah.
Um.
So I wouldn't watch The Isle of Man personally.
So that's too much risk.
I don't want to see anybody die.
Yeah.
When that happens, you can't get that back.
No, I know, but
you lose that forever.
Yeah, I know, but it is very compelling to watch the coverage of that race because it's so on the knife edge.
Yeah. I'd rather
of life.
I just rather let the news, the fake news media filter it and show me
That's $1 in the swear jar, my friend.
The fake news media filter the Isle of Man TT and just show me the highlights of the people that lived.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what I want.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, buddy. Yeah.
Well, I have an FMK cars to go with this.
Oh, do you? Okay.
I do.
All right. Okay. Let me crack open a browser tab. And,
Yep.
Oh, look at that Fiat again. Okay. All right.
So this one is called We're Gonna Be Okay, right?
Okay.
Production car lap record ride-alongs.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so in this scenario, you get a car that is a current production car lap record for a track,
Okay.
and you get the car, but for 10% of the time that you're in it, you are on a ride along with the lap record holder.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
11/10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll start with the most tame, and we'll go
Okay. All right.
crazy from there.
Okay.
2016 Dodge Viper ACR. Randy Popst at Laguna Seca. So
Oh, wow.
90% of the time that you're in this car, you're driving it around. You can do whatever you want in it.
Okay.
But that other 10%, you are next to Randy Popst
God.
as he's on a hot lap of Laguna Seca.
Oh, dear God. Okay. All right. Okay.
All right. The next one. I don't have the actual driver with the car on this one, but
Okay.
just
Sure.
bear
Sure.
with me on this one.
Yeah.
2017 Lamborghini Huracan LP 640-4 Performante.
LP 640.
640 Performante.
Okay. All right.
I don't know if you'll find a fair use one.
Yeah,
but
sure.
you get the idea. Right? This is
Right.
the Huracan, right?
Yep. Okay.
That is the current production car lap record holder at the Nürburgring.
Oh, wow.
So Sabine Schmitz. So you get.
No.
She didn't set it,
Right.
but
You're making Sabine the driver?
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. So you would be.
She's the best.
You'd be passenger seat with Sabine on a hot lap in a 640 horsepower Lamborghini.
Okay. You're going to have something pretty compelling for me to marry it over that.
Okay. 2016 WRX STI.
Oh,
Race prepped.
Isle of Man.
Mark Higgins on the Isle of Man.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen that lap?
Yes, I have.
It's-
That save that he made?
Oh yeah, that was a few years ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
That save. Yeah. If you haven't, if you've never seen that, look up Mark Higgins Isle of Man save.
Yeah.
It's nutty.
Yeah, like 140 mile an hour, and the tail steps out. Yep. Suspension's already loaded up.
And he had like
and you hit
3
it again.
people in the car
Yeah.
with him.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you would be on a hot lap of the Isle of Man road course for. So you drive it 9 days, 1 day, hot laps.
Wow.
Hot laps in the STI.
I'm gonna kill the STI. As much respect as I have for Mark, because never has there been a braver braver driver to boring name ratio better than that.
Mark Higgins.
Uh-huh. This is just Mark Higgins. Very. But balls of steel and titanium. and-
Absolutely.
yeah. His Mark Higgins are quite robust. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh God.
So unfortunately I have to kill that because I don't know. I would basically poo so hard my head would come out my butt.
Yeah.
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 So I would kill that.
Yeah. For anyone who hasn't seen that, do yourself a favor and
Yeah.
look up the Mark Higgins lap record in-car video. It's crazy.
So then I'm going to have to F the Viper at Laguna Seca.
Yeah.
Because I love that track. It's an amazing track.
But there's like runoff areas.
There's runoff areas. There's not someone's house right there.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not going to go into someone. You're not going to end up in someone's couch at 160 miles an hour.
Yeah, which happens
Yeah.
at Isle of Man. Yeah. And then lastly, I'm marrying the Lamborghini Huracan and taking a hot lap with Sabine Schmidt. Like,
Yeah?
that is a bucket list thing. Like, if I could take the ring taxi with her, that would be amazing.
Okay.
Yeah, like every
That
time
sounds
she was on
fucking
Top
terrifying to
Gear.
me.
Oh yeah. No, and you as a bad passenger, that would be insane.
Yeah.
If you and I were taking a ring taxi, I would. Oh my God, I would just put the camera right at you. I would do like that. Another what's his name? Darren Aronofsky movie,
Yeah.
Pi, where
Yeah.
he has like the camera like
Yeah.
attached to the guy, so you always see it like at. Yeah. I would do that to you, and and then just put a little wiper on the camera
Yeah.
for the vomit.
And then also, spoiler alert, I would drill my head out. Drill my brains out.
Exactly. Yeah. No. What would you do in this scenario?
You know, I don't know. I think
and you knew what I would do, right?
I thought you were going to marry the Viper.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, because Sabine and the Nürburgring would be too scary.
I thought you would do that once.
Okay.
I thought you would crush the Isle of Man. I think I would crush the Viper.
Okay.
I would marry the Lamborghini, and I would for a day do the Isle of Man. Because
Okay.
I would want to do that once.
Once. Okay. It was nice knowing you, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. All right. That's a good one, buddy. That's
Yeah.
a good one.
Thanks.
I like that. Whew. Yeah.
yeah.
Isle of Man.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, hopefully no one else dies before you listen to this. But
Yeah.
as of today, 3 people already.
That's insane. That's
Yeah.
so insane. So we have a listener FMK Cars from my buddy John. Thank you, John, for sending in this FMK Cars. I'm pulling it up
Tonal
now.
shift.
Yep, exactly. So John sent us one. FMK Cars, FMK famous vans, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is iconic movie vans, and Gmail's taking a while to pull up here. Come on, Gmail. Come on. Pull up the van email. Ian, distract the listeners with your wit and charm.
Right. Wit
I'm-
and charm.
I'm going to phone. I'm going to phone.
Sort of fresh out of both of those.
Yeah?
I've got it pulled up.
Okay.
Oh, you've got it pulled up. It's
Oh,
there.
okay.
It's
Woo.
there. It's
Okay.
there.
Iconic
Woo.
movie TV vans.
I haven't read this yet.
Okay.
So you can.
All right.
You want to give it to me?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so first up, Ian, and I'm going to pull this up on the browser tab so the listeners are on Twitch and YouTube can see it here. Right? Let's go. First up, Ian, you have the Scooby-Doo Mystery Machine. Let's see here. Let's do Mystery Machine.
Yep.
All right. Let's do that. Come on, give me a fair use Mystery Machine. Boom. Thanks, Google. All right. This one has some LEDs on the ground.
Sweet.
All right. So in this one, Ian, here, you want the messaging system?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. You have to ride around solving mysteries with a large Great Dane, and I'm replacing this. It says stoner friend. I'm not a stoner, but I'll be Shaggy in the scenario
You basically are Shaggy.
because I always have the munchies.
Yeah.
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 Right? Okay. So, yes.
Dave Mysteries.
Yes, right? And a Great Dane. So you've got
Meddling
maybe about 5 years of dog time
Kids.
because those things burn bright and die quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they're lovely dogs. One time, my beloved late dog Mona,
Mm-hmm.
right? When she was very young, she encountered a Great Dane. It's very hard to find more opposite than a Basset Hound
Yeah.
and a Great Dane.
It's true.
But the Great Dane, it was pretty young, and it was super excited, to see another dog. And Mona just kind of she squatted down in the play stance, right? Paws out in front. The Great Dane took its
Which
mouth.
is only, I'm going to say, a quarter inch from the normal stance with our Basset Hound.
The Great Dane took its mouth and put it over the entire back of her head and just licked her, and she was just super happy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they made fast friends.
That's
yeah.
hilarious.
Kind of like when the first time you and I met. I just mouthed your head.
Yeah.
Awkward head lick.
Yep. Yep.
Friends for life. Yeah. So anyway, this is a mid-'60s era Chevy sport van.
Yep.
Okay? The Mystery Machine has an uncanny ability to adapt to any given situation and the conveniently packed items that might be needed in any given situation.
Oh, I like it. Okay.
The back is filled with various equipment, ladder, lanterns, ropes. A bench running longwise can be stored in the rear of the van.
Equipment.
Yes. Also, the back can fit table chairs, plus the walls are lined with computer equipment and a large antenna on the roof.
Okay.
All right?
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Up next, Ian,
Yes.
we have the classic A-Team van. Who doesn't love the A-Team? Team van. All right. Come on, Google. Show us a fair use picture of the A-Team van. Boo. Booyakasha.
Love it when a plan comes together.
That's right.
Do you see the license plate on that?
No, what did it say? It said fool. Nice. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Oh, crap.
awesome.
I forgot. There we go. I forgot to switch the Twitch stream over. Okay, so we have the Mystery Machine, right? Got the Mystery Machine.
Yep.
Got the A-Team van. All
Yep.
right? God, anything with that paint job, two-tone with an accent line,
Mm-hmm.
mwah.
It's pretty.
You want to get into my
pretty
style
boss.
heart?
Yeah.
Two-tone and a line.
It's pretty great.
That's how you do
I
it.
like it.
Okay, so let's see what's going on with the A-Team van here, right? All right, the van comes equipped with your own arsenal of weapons. So that could just be whiskey and a laptop for you. Because you're more dangerous with that than anything else.
It's true.
Right?
It's true.
It's a 1983 black and gray metallic metallic gray, GMC Vandura,
Mm-hmm.
right? Characteristic red stripe, yes. Black and red turbine mag wheels, rooftop spoiler, because why wouldn't you put a spoiler on the top of a van?
Yeah.
Hello, right? A number of these devices were
Oh my
seen.
God.
Yeah, I know. You're seeing the next van. Yeah.
No, I'm looking at the amount of detail that he
Yeah.
has here in this email. is
John put a
insane.
lot of thought into this. He's a bright dude. Okay, a number of devices were seen in the back of the van in different episodes, including a mini printing press, pros and cons. It was the name of the episode. John, you're a goddamn
episode names in here.
yeah.
That's amazing.
An audio surveillance recording device
Uh-huh.
from the episode A Small and Deadly War, and Hannibal's disguise kits used in various episodes, and a gun storage locker. Okay?
Okay.
And if you want, I'll grow a Mr. T mohawk and wear a bunch of gold chains, but actually they're candy necklaces.
Oh God.
And throughout the episode, like, they just keep going down until I just have a bunch of wet string around my neck.
Oh, and just like a stripe of of hair surrounded by sunburn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yes. Oh,
All right.
God. Oh, John, that FMK Cars is worth it for that alone. Quit digging. You hit oil. Lastly,
All right.
Ian,
Oh,
we
God.
have the Dumb and Dumber Mutt van. The Dumb and Dumber, what's it called? It's called the Dumb and Dumber Mutts Cuts van. That's right.
Nuts cuts.
Okay, so let me pull up a picture of that. Yeah. Oh my God. Just wet string around my neck. That makes me so happy. Dumb and Dumber van. Okay, come on, Google, show us. Yeah, that'll work.
That's pretty close.
Yeah, that's okay. So there we go. All right, so it is a 1984 customized Ford Econoline van. It's nicknamed the Shaggin' Wagon because why not? Any car you drive, Ian, is nicknamed the Shaggin' Wagon.
Obviously.
The van's 114 horsepower engine may not be capable of outrunning bad guys, but who needs to go fast when you can talk about the most annoying sound in the world and play tag?
Now, can we be in the Dumb and Dumber tuxedos?
Yes, I'm going to say yes 100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
In that case,
Yeah, I need to see if I can find a picture of that. Yeah. In that case,
yeah, look up suits or tuxedos.
yeah.
Um,
Oh, and I'm going to call another audible. Here's some people cosplaying as that. But an audible is that we will have this scooter that we can eject out of the back at any
Yeah.
time.
Yep.
Yeah.
You've made it nice. I was already gonna marry that, so you just kind of sweeten the pot on that one.
Okay.
That's too awesome to
Right,
pass up.
right,
I'm gonna
because
crush the mystery machine because that one came with a job, which I don't need. I've already got one, and then another one, and then another one. I don't need more jobs.
We already do those poorly.
Yeah.
So yeah, we
don't-
don't need to fail at something else.
I don't need to also be, senior vice president in charge of being a meddling kid, or whatever the job title would be. Can't do that. So I'm gonna for a day we're gonna be the A team.
Okay.
Because
okay.
I feel like that's all you can do with the sunburn
and
the
diabetes.
diabetes. That
Okay.
you definitely get from your candy necklaces.
Just a bunch of ring pops. Just like,
Oh my god.
Ian.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I like the Mutts cut.
Mr. T. Affy
Yeah.
would be you.
Yes.
That would be your name.
Yeah. I like the Mutts cuts, and I think I would marry that too, because it's like the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile or a donk. Like,
Right.
it just brings a smile to passerby's
It's
face.
just joy.
How do you pluralize passersby?
passersby?
Passerbys?
No, passersby.
Passersby?
Yeah.
Right.
It's like attorneys general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Passersby's
Yeah.
faces.
Yeah.
You pluralize it, then make it possessive.
Mm-hmm.
Grammar's hard for me at 10 o'clock at night. I think I hit my grammar wall, Ian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the 8th grade, right? Sorry, that was too easy.
Known as Missouri graduation. Yep. That's about all you need in Missouri.
Yeah.
That's why it's called the Show Me State, Ian.
Missouri.
Yeah,
Show me because I can't read it.
Yeah, exactly. Ian, I think you chose well. I cannot thank John enough for that fantastic FMK cars.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah,
that was fun.
That was one of the best. One of the best. Yeah. Oh, Ian.
Woof.
You know, we knew going into this it was going to be a little bit thin. We didn't have a lot of talkabouts.
No,
right?
but you know what?
I
think we made it work.
We baked up a big batch of riffs.
Yeah.
Right? We put some riff icing on there.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah, and that's what we did.
Okay. I don't even know what these hand gestures are anymore.
This is me eating the riffs.
Oh, okay. We haven't baked the riffs yet. You're just already eating them.
Yeah. Just
you're one of those that like 3 cookies make it into the oven because you eat all the cookie dough.
100%. Yeah. I look at the cookie dough. I'm like, not all of you are going to make it to be cookies. Look to your left and look to your right. One of you's not going to be cookies.
2 of you are not going to be cookies. We're being honest.
Also, I have a stomach ache. Turns out eating a dozen raw eggs is not a good thing. Who am I, Rocky? Ian.
Yeah. Yes.
So that's what we did with the episode, Ian.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks again, John, for that fantastic FMK cars.
That was great.
Let's see here.
I think we done did it.
Yes, Ian. What could we do to make this episode better?
I think end it.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, buddy.
Yeah.
Okay, so listeners, viewers, if you want to find any more information out about us, go to TeamClearCoat.com.
Correct.
That's our plug section, right?
Yep.
Rate and review us on iTunes, please.
Tell a couple friends.
Yep.
Berate a stranger.
Yep, definitely. Take someone's phone. Like if you see an unlocked phone, just subscribe to the podcast on it.
Yeah.
Put the phone back. Use your discretion on the quantity of dick pics you add to it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, maybe make the wallpaper this. You know?
Or if anyone asks you for IT help.
Yeah.
That's an automatic subscribe to this podcast.
Yep. Well, yeah, the first thing you need to do is open up iTunes.
Yeah.
You have them load up TeamViewer and then you just go to their computer. Okay, and now what can I help you with?
Exactly. If you're at Best Buy, just, subscribe on a couple computers.
Exactly. Go for that.
Go ahead and do that.
Please.
Yeah.
Please, definitely.
We're definitely not begging.
Yep.
We are.
We are begging.
Totally.
Yep. We're not begging you to not do that.
Yeah.
Right. So do that. We would love to hear from you. Send us an email, teamclearcoat@gmail.com. Don't hesitate to reach out. Send us your FMK cars.
Yeah.
Right?
Maybe we'll have as much fun with yours as we did with John's.
Yeah.
Unlikely, but we might.
The bar has been raised.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
All right. Ian, thanks for recording the episode with me today, buddy.
You too, man.
All right?
Yes.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.